look at this. My elytra look like they're from a phantom. This is incredibly awesome. This is why I love this pack. This is incredibly cool. What's up, agents? Zer here, welcome back to the lab. Today we're going to be taking yet another look at the Pixtail Resource Pack. It's actually just recently been updated yet again, and because this is one of my personal favorite resource packs, of course I wanted to go ahead and review the update. This is incredibly awesome. So for those of you who do not know what Pixtail is, for those of you who have not seen my previous videos on it, basically what this does is it changes the models and textures of different things in Minecraft, and you guys are going to get to see that in just a little bit. I actually have one item that was just recently bug fixed. Apparently it had some issues before, but yeah, so I've actually covered this previously, as I said. So if you guys want to see all the other videos that I've done on Pixtail in the past, make sure to check the link down in the description. You'll find every single video that I have done so far. I've done one video where I looked at it when it first came out, one video when it was updated for the first time. This is obviously the second time that's been updated. And I also did one other video where I was giving the creator some suggestions for potential stuff to add to the pack, and some of them I'm not 100% sure if are actually technically possible. I threw them out there anyway. So yeah, I also have to give a huge shout out to Nova. He's the creator of this resource pack, so make sure to check the links down in the description to check them out. So before I go ahead and get started, I want to mention that I'm only going to be covering the stuff that has been updated just recently. If you guys want to see everything else that's in the Pixtail Resource Pack, again, the links to my previous videos will be down in the description. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, the glass. So this applies to both regular glass as well as glass paint. Now these are incredibly difficult to tell if you didn't actually know they were there in the first place, and someone will most likely correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about this, and I actually highly encourage this in case I am actually wrong. I do believe Mojang themselves, not Innova, but actually Mojang, is intending to update the texture of everything in the game. That one I know for a fact, so no one really needs to correct me on that, but I think Mojang is intending to update the actual texture of glass so that it's pretty much like this. Maybe not 100% exactly the same, but pretty much a lot clearer than it has been previously, which is a lot better. If you actually didn't know this glass was here, then you will probably never see it, obviously, because the lab has a white background. It's a lot harder to see the actual glass, but you guys at least get the idea. And it does the exact same thing with stained glass as well as stained glass panes, but those are going to be a lot easier to see, obviously, because there's going to be a little bit of color to them. But yeah, these are just regular clear normal glass, so yeah, that's that. Next up, we have ourselves the Trident. Now, the Trident has been part of the Pixtail Resource Pack ever since it first came out, at least from what I remember. However, there was a compatibility issue between one of the more recent Minecraft updates, I don't remember which one it was, and the actual Pixtail Resource Pack. Apparently, for whatever reason, there was one of those prongs missing off to one of the sides. I'm not 100% sure what the cause of this, and I'm not 100% sure if Innova knows either, but he went ahead and bug fixed it, which is nice. And you guys will actually see, if you guys check out the suggestions video that I made to Innova, then you'll definitely get to see one of these prongs actually missing for actual proof. But the fact that it's went ahead and been patched is really nice. And another thing that apparently, according to the changelog, has also been patched is the movement behavior for dolphins. I'm not 100% sure how that actually works with a resource pack, even though I do technically know that the models of the dolphin have changed as far as Pixtail are concerned. But apparently that has been fixed as well. I figured I'd go ahead and mention that. Now also, there's a brand new model and texture. Oh my gosh, this guy is spazzing out. I can imagine why. He just wants to get up into the sky. I don't blame them. But yeah, so apparently the Phantoms have a brand new model and texture. Now, obviously, if you're actually playing in survival mode and you haven't slept for a few days, you obviously don't want to encounter one of these guys because they do hurt quite a bit, and they do obviously fly up in the air, make it a lot harder to go ahead and see them. But yeah, it was mentioned in the changelog, and I personally don't really see too much of a change. I think the tail actually ended up getting a slightly new model, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But yeah, I figured I'd mention it because, well, I am technically mentioning everything that is in the changelog. So, next up we have 18 items specifically that have some brand new textures. And I'm not going to go ahead and say what all these items are. Obviously, you can see them inside of the item frame so you get a good idea of what has had texture changes. So, first off, we have ourselves regular seeds, beetroot seeds, pumpkin, and melon seeds, just to start things off. And then there's potatoes, poisonous potatoes, baked potatoes. Some of these I do see a difference, some of these I actually don't, and that's actually going to be holding true for later in the video when I look at some of the other textures. But yeah, these are all the items that I read that actually had texture changes. And there's also a texture and a model change to the elytra as well. So if I go ahead and put this on and turn around, look at this. My elytra look like they're from a Phantom. This is incredibly awesome. This is why I love this pack. This is incredibly cool. But yeah, that's the elytra for you guys. That is awesome. I love that. Alright, so moving on, we're going to go ahead and move up into the testing room because there's a ton of new block textures that we're going to go ahead and take a look at. So we're going to start from this end, and then we're going to go ahead and work our way around. So first off, there's a new texture for the hay bale, and it actually looks pretty cool. And before I go ahead and go any further, this texture pack is technically a 32x resource pack because that was updated in the very first update to the pack. And I'm going to go ahead and mention this to Innova again in case they happen to be watching this video. I highly recommend making a separate version of the resource pack that has 16x textures, and the only reason is because I know for a fact there are certain devices that are unable to render 32x textures very well. I actually have one. That was the previous device I used to record with. So yeah, make a 16x version and a 32x version. Just wanted to go ahead and throw that out there really quick. So let's get back to the texture. So we did just look at the hay bale. Now we also have some new textures for the actual bamboo crop itself. So first off, this is when you first plant it. This is when it first starts growing. It's actually pretty thin, and then when it grows a little bit more, it gets thicker, and this is actually what it actually looks like. So not too bad. We also apparently have a new texture to the sugar cane itself. Now personally, I don't actually see much of a difference. I'm sure somebody watching this video or who happens to use Pixtail might actually know what this texture change actually is. But again, like I said, personally, I do not see the change whatsoever. We also have some new textures to the pumpkins. Again, other than being 32x, I do not see anything special about them. Maybe 32x is the only change that they made to it. That's very possible. I don't really know. But yeah, moving on, we actually have ourselves a melon, and this actually is pretty cool in my opinion because it has a nice HD texture, which is really nice. Also have some brand new log textures as well. So we've got every single type of log, and we also have every single type of strip log as well. And apparently we have some new leaf textures that are supposed to be based off of the upcoming texture update, but I don't really pay attention too much to these particular textures. I know for a fact some of you might actually see a difference, but me personally, I don't. But these logs actually look pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. Next up, we have a brand new texture for lily pads, and this is actually pretty cool. I do like this. It's got a little bit of fray on a couple of edges, and it's got some holes inside of it, so it's like it's starting to decay, which is actually pretty cool. Obviously, you guys know what the normal lily pads actually look like, and they have no holes whatsoever. And, well, they're actually pretty clean. There's no fray to them either. But this is actually really awesome. I like this a lot. And also, we have a brand new texture for the vines as well. So, this actually looks like it has a lot more coverage on the side of the block than the normal default vines, which actually not too bad. I do like this a lot. This is obviously going to take some getting used to, but at least I know what it is. We also have a new texture for pods. Now, something I have noticed is that apparently there's a 16x texture on the top and a 32x texture on the side. I'm not entirely sure what caused that, but yeah, that was worth mentioning. We also have some new textures for sand, red sand, and every single one of their sandstone variants. So that's actually not too bad, all things considered. We got sandstone. I think this is chiseled sandstone, but I'm not 100% sure. And we also have ourselves smooth sandstone. I'm not 100% sure I have these two correct. If I have these incorrect, someone feel free to correct me down in the comments section below. I actually kind of want to be correct on everything. Obviously, I can't always do that, but if I am incorrect, just make sure to tell me, and we'll go from there. And obviously, we have the same going on with these stairs and slabs as well, obviously with both regular sand and smooth sand. Now we're going to move on to the vehicle bay, because I have planted some crops, and these are all fully grown, by the way. We actually have new textures for them, and these are actually pretty cool things considered. The wheat looks a lot less yellow and a lot more like what I would technically see in real life if I actually saw wheat growing. It looks pretty awesome, and someone, again, correct me if I'm wrong, saying that a lot in this video. I do realize that, and I apologize if I'm annoying anybody, but yeah, I do believe Mojang is intending to change the default texture of this as well inside of the game. Maybe to this, maybe to not. I'm not 100% sure, but we also have the same thing going on with potatoes, carrots, and beetroot. Now, it said in the changelog all the crops have had a texture change, so I went ahead and planted some stalks for melons and pumpkins. Obviously, we saw the melons and pumpkins up there, but I wanted to check the stalks, and personally, I don't see any texture changes to them whatsoever. It's possible they didn't actually have a texture change, but it literally only said on the changelog that all the crops, so I wanted to assume potentially these had changed, which is why I planted them. Again, there's a chance that it didn't actually happen, but I figured I'd mention it anyway. So last but not least, we're going to be going outside, because I actually have been using a resource pack made by my good friend TGC. You guys probably know him, and he made a resource pack that changes specifically the sun and moon to look more realistic, and he did an incredible job. And apparently Innova decided to go ahead and take the exact same idea. I imagine he probably did this by himself, custom. I can't imagine him actually taking it from TGC. My gosh, my voice just cracked. I apologize. But yeah, so the sun looks incredibly awesome. I did go ahead and turn off clouds so that you guys will get a better idea of what the sun looks like. But yeah, they did the basically a more realistic texture with the sun, and they did the exact same thing with the moon as well. So let me go ahead and set this tonight. So yeah, they did the exact same thing with the moon as well. This looks pretty cool, all things considered. So let me go ahead and quickly turn it back to daytime. Now, according to the changelog, there are two other things that have been changed, and that's actually rain and snow. Now, unfortunately, I cannot showcase the snow inside the lab. I'm going to have to wait until I look at a normal Minecraft world and find a biome that actually snows, maybe a high mountain, because that does work that way. But what I can at least do is show you the rain. Now, I've already looked at the rain already, and I personally do not see any changes to this whatsoever. It looks like just normal rain to me, but was technically in the changelog, which is literally the only reason why I'm looking at it. I'm sure someone will, if they happen to see a difference, they'll probably tell me, which I don't mind that whatsoever. But yeah, other than that, this literally every single change that has been made to Pixtail as of this particular update. This is actually pretty cool. Hopefully, Innova will be able to add a whole bunch more stuff in the future. Obviously, it's been taking quite some time to go ahead and update this kind of stuff, because obviously some of this stuff gets brand new models, and I personally do not know how to do that. I have dabbled in resource packs before, but I have no idea how he manages to do the models. It's absolutely incredible. But other than that, this is actually where I'm going to go ahead and end things off. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you did, make sure that like button. Or more than make sure that subscribe button for future content. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at AgentCPU0 to stay updated. This has been Zer0's. Thank you guys for watching, and with that, I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.